again, they haven't won a single game by more than 2 goals. And even if they fall down early here, we know the firepower that Dignitas has, as Zol gets a big stop there on Aleutian to start things off.
And like I said earlier, it's really all dependent on Zolhe and Chicago. These guys need to get things going for Dignitas. They are what sparks the offense for them, and if they're not on, Allegiance is going to take advantage, and they're going to win this series.
Ty Not Tyler to start things off for Allegiance. And he's got Aleutian over there, but he took way too long getting onto this. Not sure he even knew that Chicago and this Dignitas team was breathing down his neck. It's going to be Chicago now. Ty Not Tyler took an awkward angle up for this, and Seabass has to dump it off to the corner. It's been a shaky start on both halves of the field, but so far no score. Nobody's been punished for it just yet. The only loss so far is just missed opportunities. Sol now, taken away by Aleutian and Seabass. They're both up there. They both shouldn't have been up there. Seabass thought about it, but it's going to be Chicago who bombs another one away.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see Allegiance kind of control the pace of play in this match. You're seeing it already here in the first minute and a half. They have the ball in the Dignitas half for most of this game so far, but I will say that when Dignitas do move the ball down the field, I'd expect them to capitalize on a lot of the chances that they get.
Turtle just a little slow after this, so Seabass banking one in. Big demo. Turtle not slow, getting to Ty Not Tyler, and it will set up Dignitas to finally clear the zone. That's a shot over one, but it's also just outside the corner of the goal, and now Aleutian can start the counterattack. It's Zol, and that's going to be popped away.
And that's kind of a missed opportunity. He had a 1v1 with that goalkeeper. There was a rotation coming in for Dignitas, but Aleutian not able to capitalize on the 1v1 opportunity.
Ty Not Tyler banking another one in. We've seen plenty of it from Allegiance. They've been able to just kind of bank these challenges towards the net. They're getting in front a lot more than we saw Space Station get in front of the net against the dudes, but when they get there, that defense of Dignitas has been very stout, but as we say that, so much for their stout defense. Nobody's home, and this is the one, after all that gets through.
The old caster's curse is what's coming in here, and Seabass sees an open net, and he's going to take it. Dignitas nowhere to be found, and if I'm Dignitas, you got to be careful. Do not let Allegiance run away with this game. You talked about the Allegiance doesn't really blow out their teams, but they have the opportunity to.
Especially if they get a few more like that. This will get in front, but Chicago's right there. Aleutian now to center another. Blocked right there at the wall by Zol. Here goes Chicago. One-on-one with Seabass, and he popped one over, but Seabass disrupts the timing just enough. Got a piece of that coming off the backboard, and everybody misses here. That's going to be just high. Aleutian may have centered it again, though, for Zol, and it is cleared away by Ty Not Tyler, at least for the moment. They are not out of the woods. They're far from it. A miss from Ty, and it's finally set away by Seabass, but only as far as Chicago, as now Dignitas. They are circling the wagons here. Zol not able to get to this, though. Big clear by Aleutian. That buys his teammates time to get boosted up and finally get back on the offensive half of the field.
And that's what I was talking about. When Dignitas is given the chance to move downfield, they punish the other team and they keep a siege on in the offensive third. That's the scary part about Dignitas, and that's the Dignitas that you want to see throughout this series.
It'll be Ty again. That's not a great clear, and I think they've really gotten just a taste of what Dignitas is capable of, especially if they leave a loose ball anywhere near Chicago. Turtle battling on the corner here. Somebody's got to get back to the net. Finally, it's Chicago who does clear it across, and Aleutian cuts off the shot. Turtle's there as well. That's going to be just off the mark and set away. Aleutian, he'll get credit for a save, but it was quality defense all around by Allegiance that maintains a 1-0 lead. Final minute of regulation, and Turtle is going to give way to Zol. Needs to be up for this a little sooner as Ty clears it away again. Chicago, this may be on target, just high. Follow-up is high. They've hit everything except the net, and finally Zol does, and we're tied up.
And Zol able to clean this one up finally after the solo efforts here from Chicago, following up his own pass, putting it off the back wall, and Zol puts it away. They come into this week, Dignitas, Zol, and Chicago, both with a 78% goal participation, and you see it here again in this series.
Now it's Turtle having a bit of trouble, but everybody misses. Not Tyler didn't get that deep into the corner at all, so that mistake by Dignitas won't cost them. Seabass has to clear that away. That was dangerous in front, but nobody from Dignitas was crashing the net. Now Zol looking again to go deep to the corner, trying to keep this deep into the Allegiance zone. Aleutian from the ceiling, but he jumped off, so he didn't have his reset. 7 seconds remain. Dignitas swarming yet again. Zol to center, but Chicago's not there. One more clear should force overtime, and it does.
And the slow start from Dignitas puts them down 1-0, but they've been heating up. They've been getting faster and faster. They've been playing with each other, and they find themselves in an overtime.
Seabass, oh wow, he should have scored that and would have if not for the efforts of Chicago. He really does it all. Not Tyler. He's going to find Aleutian, but Aleutian, or rather Ty's having a tough time landing on that wall, could not keep the play alive, and it goes back the other way. Chicago now will give way to Seabass. Ty's in the middle. That's going to angle downward, but not enough for Aleutian to get a shot off. It's blocked away again by the defense of Dignitas. Now Ty, he's going to block that as well. Really, midfield defense going to be the key for both these teams. You cannot let either one of them set up on the offensive side. Could be the last time they do in overtime. Chicago up a little late, but Ty couldn't get the shot down. That's blocked away by Zol. We've talked about how good Chicago and Zol are on the offensive end. They've done it on the defensive side as well. A low-scoring affair here in Game 2. And Game 1.
These teams are, it feels like Game 2 at
right?
this point.
Maybe by the time we're done here.
And these teams just trading blows back and forth. Really no team controlling the pace of play like we saw in the beginning. Allegiance was definitely in control, but now it goes down one side. Allegiance has their opportunity, and Dignitas brings it back the other way, and they have their chance.
That will go wide. Not Tyler needs to get down on this. Instead, Aleutian is there. Seabass coming in. Ty trying to interfere on the back line. That hasn't worked out. Turtle has an open net. Aleutian is going to get there, though. Boy, it looked like Turtle had a lot of freedom there. Maybe if he had passed that across, this game would be over. Now Chicago has that taken away by Aleutian. Ty actually takes out Chicago on the other side. All that's going to do is let him get back and help out on the defensive end. He may be needed as well. Needed to make this save, and he does make it off the feed from, it looked like that was Ty's shot. And now Ty, actually Aleutian, jumps in front of Ty, and maybe you're starting to see just that little bit of hero ball. You usually see it when a team's down and struggling on defense, but you're seeing it here in overtime of Game 1.
Both of these teams, again, going back and forth. Nobody really grabbing on and taking control of the game. You see Chicago, he's created a couple chances, and there's a chance for Allegiance. They finally take the game here in just over 2.5 minutes. Seabass's pass off the corner over to Aleutian, and Zol just a little late there to get there. And Allegiance, what is it, Game 1? They take Game 1.
Yeah, eventually it is 1. Can confirm.
It feels like 2, and finally Allegiance, they get it on the board, and Dignitas find themselves in the hole once again here in a series.
Chicago and Zol, though, they combined to outshoot all of Allegiance in that game. I mean, that was, again, a lot of shots coming out from Team Dignitas, but what they did not do was get one into the net when they needed it most. It's a win for Allegiance in a marathon Game 1, and now mentally for Dignitas, it's time to reset. You've lost a game, finally, after this hot streak you've been on. What do they need to do to turn things around going into Game 2?
Well, they need to capitalize on their chances. They had more than enough chances in the latter half of regular time and all of overtime. 3-4 chances, quality chances, multiple chances at a time for them to score, and they just couldn't do it. And really, honestly, Allegiance couldn't do it either. It was just flip a coin who was going to score there in overtime, because both teams were moving the ball so well and getting it out of their own half so quickly that chances were coming for both sides, one after the other. And you see it, Allegiance, finally the coin landed on their end of the field, and they were able to put one away. But for Dignitas, you need to take control of the game. First of all, don't go down 1-0 early in the game. Maybe establish a bit of a lead. But second of all, finish your chances. They had chances. There's no other way to say it. Put the ball in the back of the net.
It's another close win for Allegiance as well. Talking about how they don't blow teams out. They win game 1 in overtime, and they took their sweet time doing it. And now for Dignitas, again, a team that had been on a hot streak after they were feeling really down about their first week of play, feeling like maybe they were out of contention already for the top 2 spots. At least every game matters, so that's a step backwards for them, but they are still very much in this. Take as many games as you can. 2 losses, you can still get into that top 2, but I think the pressure is going to start mounting onto Team Dignitas after that overtime loss with those missed opportunities that they had, because some of those opportunities, you'll not get anything even close to that the rest of the series.
And really for Dignitas right now is Zolhe and Chicago are playing well. I said that was their key to victory for them. They need to have those guys on, and they are playing well. It just comes down to executing and putting the ball away.
That shot's on target, but it is Turtle. Again, the anchor on this team, the third man back, usually, and he makes a big save there. Chicago, he's missed this though. It took a weird hop on him. Lucian almost dunked that right through him. Seabass now, after some interference from Lucian, but it's gonna be Chicago. That did not have nearly enough pace, even with the interference from Lucian. And it'll be right back in though from Allegiance. Seabass off the backboard, and it's cleared away by Zol as Team Dignitas look to finally get a quality opportunity early in game 2. Zol now thought about maybe the ceiling, instead thought better of it, pass over towards Chicago. Again, that's for Dignitas. That's who they want with the ball. Anytime they get a chance with Zol or Turtle trying to center for Chicago, they are right where they want to be. This is forcing its way through, but Turtle, no panic there for Dignitas. They just clear it away. Another stop by Chicago coming down from the backboard. And they remain hemmed in their own zone, but you're seeing they're not panicking at all. This is Team Dignitas under fire, cool as you like.
Yeah, Dignitas' defense has been extremely solid throughout this series. I mean, at least for the first game, and you're seeing it here in the second game. They're not panicking. They're still staying in rotation. They're communicating. They're calling each other off. They're playing great defense, but you don't want to play defense for the entirety of a game. That's how you lose a game.
Chicago's got to track this one deep into his own corner and does get that. It looked like the tail of the Octane to clear that away, and that's how he shakes off the oncoming attacker. Now Chicago trying to get this by, looked like that was a Lucian that he was able to beat. That's right on the corner, somehow stays out. Dignitas are robbed here on the offensive end. They still have a chance, but that's blocked away as well. Turtle couldn't center. Chicago will try, but he put way too much on it. Turtle will bring it back. Zol finally waiting. It's like a game of monkey in the middle, but finally when he gets his opportunity, sails it off to the corner.
And those are the opportunities that I'm talking about for Dignitas. So many right there. And this could be one if Chicago can just put it away. He does. He gets the demo himself, and he backs the ball up into the back of the net.
This is where Chicago gets the demo and goes, wait,
it's
really?
open.
Nobody else? I wonder why. And he just backs it right in, and it's a big step for Dignitas now. They have the lead here in game 2, trying to tie up the series against Allegiance.
During the break, we said 2 things. 1, Dignitas establish a lead in regular time. Number 2, Chicago and Zol involved in the offense. They have checked off both of those boxes here in the first half of the game. Can they continue it in the second half?
Going to be Ty who blocks this from Chicago. Chicago and Zol both on the same side of the field, same half of the field, while Turtle waiting patiently at the net. This is in front again. Zol and Chicago this time occupying the net. And again, nobody from Allegiance able to get anywhere near the net. Now the gate's open, but Zol's going to get back just in time. Didn't get it out of the zone, though. And that pass needed to be a little bit lower from Seabass. A missed opportunity for Allegiance. We were talking about that with Dignitas. This time it rears its ugly head on Allegiance's side, and they may be wondering what might have been.
You've noticed Dignitas respecting a lot of the passing plays in their own box from Allegiance. A couple pre-jumps from Dignitas there on that last cross because they know how fast this Allegiance team is.
Coming up on the final minute, still a 1-0 lead for Dignitas. Turtle lurking at midfield, needs to stop this, and he does from Seabass. Zol is up there quickly as well, and Ty will have it right to Illusion. It wasn't a big power clear. He knew there was no pressure there. Dignitas had backed off for a moment, and now it's Turtle. We talk about his defense. He gets a huge insurance goal in game 2.
And this is great from Dignitas because they really have taken control of this game. You've seen the last minute or so here. It's all Dignitas. They're moving the ball around. They have ball possession, and more importantly, they're scoring the goal stacks, and that's what we wanted from them.
Dignitas about to get back to their winning ways, but Allegiance may have something to say about it. They do still have 40 seconds. Seabass got that by 1. They need a little support in the midfield. Ty Not Tyler's there, but Chicago has another clear. Every time this ball is sent back out towards and beyond midfield, the task gets even tougher for Allegiance. Zol has another clear over 1, and everybody from Allegiance has to reset back to their own zone, and Zol will drop the hammer and secure game 2.
And that's absolutely the dagger in this game. If 2 goals wasn't enough, Zol makes it 3 off of his own play. No assists needed as he follows it up and puts it in the back of the net. And Dignitas, they respond back in the best way possible by really just blowing out Allegiance. Slow and steady throughout this game, but that's what they want, and they get a 1-1 series here.
Yeah, we said that Allegiance doesn't blow out their opponents. We made no promises about Team Dignitas, as we saw last week and we saw earlier tonight. They can and they will if given the opportunity. They do so here. 3-0. It doesn't sound like a blowout. We've seen some that are far worse. But the way they controlled that game, they only allowed 2 shots from Allegiance. They keep Illusion, really I think maybe their key player for Allegiance, off the scoreboard almost entirely. That's a huge win in many ways for Team Dignitas.
And look at the pressure that Dignitas, even just from the stats, 7 shots coming out for them. They're scoring 3 of them, so that's a great shooting percentage already in this one game. But for Dignitas, this is the type of Dignitas that we want to see. Controlling, moving the ball around the field. Chicago and Zol just making play after play, and so Turtle playing that supporting player for Dignitas. We didn't mention Turtle's name a lot, but that's because he was just kind of doing what he needed to do, support his teammates and let Chicago and Zol be the show.
When you look at the stats for this Dignitas team, you look and you see, all right, Chicago and Zol, they are lighting up the scoreboard. And then you look all the way down near the bottom, and that's where you see Turtle, but they're comfortable with that. And I think it's proof that you don't all have to be all on the same level. You don't all have to get the stats. Sometimes it's just being in the right place at the right time. That's good enough for Turtle and Dignitas. And as long as he's comfortable in that role, it allows Chicago and Zol to do their thing. That's what they've done so far. They have now tied this series. We go now into a tie-breaking 3rd game. And this is really where the pressure, I think, is on both teams, Corelli, because the winner is on match point. And every game, of course, meaning as much as it does at this point of the season, the loser having to win 2 in a row, it's going to be very difficult for anybody to win 2 in a row. So you think about how monumental that task is when you consider you're trying to stave off match point. Boy, it is a lot of pressure on this game in particular.
And we're going to see if Dignitas can be that team to move out in front here in the series score. If they follow up their performance like they did in the last game, then Allegiance has a little bit of a problem on their hands.
It's Turtle. He'll take his time here, looking for someone to pass to. Instead, it's Ty Not Tyler who disrupts the play. Seabass almost got that through. Illusion does
Great
get
shot.
this through. Perfectly placed, as you said, Corelli, just over the defense for Allegiance.
Fantastic shot from Illusion. It's not the most complicated shot, but look how high he hits this on the goal, making that one a tough save for the last defender. Seabass grabbing an assist there, but Allegiance, now they find themselves. Is it their turn to take a series lead here? And they take a lead here in the game at least.
Yeah, remember that when you're on your training packs, kids. It's not just put the ball in the net. Put it at a specific spot. That's what players at this level do constantly. And when they do, they are very tough, almost impossible to stop at times. It's going to be Chicago beaten out by Illusion here. Zol has this. Seabass tried to challenge, but it's a big high-arcing clear. Fantastic play by Chicago. That sets up Zol, and Seabass scrambles back just in time to make a critical save and maintain the lead for Allegiance.
Great shot, or great play by Dignitas. And like you said, Allegiance a little bit scrambling in the backfield there, but able to get this ball out and keep playing with a 1-0 lead.
Ty's going to give way to Illusion. but Zol's gonna have this by a mile over Illusion. Turtle is lurking on the offensive end, and well, really feel like he might have got played a little bit there by Seabass. That delayed touch, able to get over Turtle. It lets Allegiance at least keep possession for a moment, and then Chicago's there to dunk another one back in. It seems like Allegiance, they are trying to play very slowly out of the zone. We saw that a little bit from the dudes as well, but I don't think that can work against a team like Dignitas because they are so quick to the ball.
Yeah, when you talk about Dignitas, it's Chicago who you're scared of. And
Right.
if you give this guy time, he's going to put it in the back of the net. And that's kind of like you said, what Allegiance is doing right now. They're playing a little bit slow, and that's not the pace that Chicago wants to play at. He wants to go down the field and make you pay for being so slow.
Well, right now he has to play at the pace of wait a few seconds as he gets demoed on the play. He's got to recover very quickly, and he does so, banking that one in for himself, but it's cleared away by Illusion again. Seabass, that's going to find Ty-Not Tyler, and Illusion was there as well, but could not find the angle for a shot. It remains only 1-0 as we go into the second half of this third game. Zol, Turtle, who's going to take it? It's Zol, but Turtle was right there, almost a little communication breakdown for Dignitas. Turtle again, just having to wait. He may be able to go for this. No, Zol was up. Turtle does take the attempt, and it's Illusion. Again, very calmly, nonchalantly out of the zone, but it doesn't actually get there. It's stuffed right back in. Now they finally get downfield, but for how long?
Allegiance soaking up a lot of pressure from Dignitas right now, and honestly, that's not how you want to play, but so far Allegiance is making it work. Nothing too scary coming out of Dignitas, a shot here and there, but overall, Allegiance is playing with that pressure, playing defense so much, very well.
Zol gets ahead of Illusion on that play. Nobody on the weak side. Seabass was trying to get there, but that crossing attempt falls on nobody. Zol now up near the ceiling. Illusion's got to get it to the outside. Didn't get it far enough, and Chicago almost made them pay. Zol is lurking, so is Turtle, but it goes all the way downfield. Seabass is going to take out Turtle. It's a power play opportunity, a chance to get on the board and tie things up, or rather expand their lead, but Allegiance not able to get any other pressure because Dignitas, even a man down, were so solid on the defensive end.
Yeah, play broke down a little bit, players rotating back, and if you're Allegiance, that's more important right now than getting another goal. Of course, a cushion is always great, but letting the game be tied up over an overcommit when you're already in the lead with a minute left, not what you want from Allegiance.
Zol just barely getting that out, but not very far. Seabass stuffs another one in. Chicago not able to get that corner boost. That may be costly. He's only got 20 to work with. Trouble now as he has to clear this away. Again, Allegiance smothering Team Dignitas in the zone, but that miss by Illusion could prove costly. Turtle throws one across, but nobody's there. A little late for Zol to get there. Chicago will try his luck. He's only got 9 seconds to work with. Got to touch the center, and it's blocked by Seabass, but not for long. Oh, another one that's off the crossbar, still in front, and Illusion will just let that die. Allegiance breathes a big sigh of relief as the crossbar comes to the rescue, and Allegiance have a 2-1 series lead.
And all of a sudden, Dignitas, like 10 seconds left. Hey, boys, 10 seconds left. Let's start playing. And all of a sudden, they put a couple shots on net. They make Allegiance make some miraculous saves. That ball came off the crossbar, and I'm pretty sure it landed on top of Illusion that cleared it away from the net. But my goodness, Dignitas, where was that for the last minute and a half or so? It took it to the last 10 seconds for them to start, being a little bit more dangerous on offense. And if you're Allegiance, you say, okay, now we have a series lead. We're up 2-1. You walk away with that match with a 1-0 lead, a close game, but win's a win, and you have a chance to take the entirety of this series.
They've taken 5 shots in the last 2 games. That's stunning to me. Again, Dignitas winning that last game. Allegiance, with only 3 shots this time around, able to secure the win after being held to 2 in their previous loss. But again, Allegiance, they find a way to win these close games. I really think that they just thrive with all this pressure that's on their shoulders. It's something that they have dealt with for weeks and weeks and weeks, even at the RLCS level. I think I don't want to say they purposely do it because they don't, but they seem to play so much better than anybody else in the league when the chips are down and the stakes are as high as they are here in week 4.
And you look at the stats from last game, just real quick. Allegiance had 7 saves. They were playing a lot of defense last time, even though they come out with the win.
Yeah, that's just, when you can win games like that, you're clearly not playing at your best, but Tyler's going to get a big goal there, only 13 seconds in. As tough as they have had to work to get goals, to get one like this, it's Christmas in April.
And playing not at their best, Dignitas, a horrible rotation from there, a wide open net with just a chip over the defense. In fact, all 3 players not good from Dignitas.
So maybe Dignitas starting to fall apart just a little bit. Lucian's going to roll this through. It's coming back the other way. Ty trying to track it, making sure he doesn't pass it to anybody with an orange car, but he has, and it ends up with Chicago. Worst case scenario for Allegiance, but they get away with it. The shot's right at the defense, and Allegiance still hold a lead, but for how long is Chicago? He's going to find Zol. Chicago's got plenty of boost to work with, but another big block in front.
And for Allegiance, the question for them right now is this going to be a repeat of last game where they kind of hang on by the skin of their teeth, or are they going to open up a lead here?
It's going to be Zol taking his time now, down in front for Turtle, but no harm, no foul. Again, Allegiance, they come up big defensively, trying to turn it into offense on the other side. Back it goes, though. Chicago, what a shot. He had sniped the corner. Seabass is going to get robbed because he absolutely deserves a save there. That would have tied the game. And again, a must-win game for Dignitas. Otherwise, they fall to 3 losses on the season, and that certainly would, you would think, eliminate them from top 2 contention.
Yeah, when we talked about it earlier in the season, we said 2 losses isn't what you want, but really it's shaping out to be 3 losses is when you really start to worry.
Of course, there is still that top 4 to play for to try and stay in the rival series for another season, not have to go through that open qualifying process. We've seen plenty of teams have to go through that, and it really does become kind of a grab bag at that point. Chicago has that in front. Seabass there to intercept the play. A shot right there from Zol, blocked away by Seabass. He's going to be called on again, and he does just get a piece of that from Chicago. I think Seabass, he may only have, 1 official save, but he deserves about 4 as Chicago finally gets one by Seabass, and this game is tied.
And that is not an official save by Seabass here as he rotated back. He didn't have any boost. He was hoping that corner spawned. Chicago saw that no one was back, and he puts it to the back of the net before Seabass can get all the way into his net. Now we're all tied up here, Stacks, and Dignitas slowly starting to make something of themselves here.
You know, just Allegiance playing another close game. It's all we've seen from them so far this season. It's incredible how a team can play so well under pressure. They do give up the lead here, though. Can they recover? The season seems to suggest, yes, they can. The only question is how. What a shot here from
shots like that.
Tyler. Good grief. They give up a game-tying goal and immediately answer back with this.
How do you get yourself back into a game? It's a shot like that. Ty, not Tyler, finding the back of the net. Nobody's there because nobody from Dignitas thought he could hit it. Ty, not Tyler knew he could, and he does it right there. Allegiance back in the lead.
Anybody who watched Ty, not Tyler really coming up through the community tournaments knew he's a very good 1v1 player. He can hit all the shots when he's got teammates who can set him up like that. He is lethal. He showed it there. Tide misses here, though, so Turtle will have a chance to center one. It's bombed away again by Aleutian. That's really going to be the challenge for Dignitas, not only to get in front, but stay there, because you have to imagine Allegiance may well be looking to just throw the ball all the way down to the other side of the field, make them go the length of the field, put together a long, sustained attack if they want to tie this game up again. They just about did there. Looked like it was Chicago and Zol doing all they could. That's still in front. Zol can't break the plane either, as Seabass is there. They're not out of the woods yet, though. Zol a shot right at Aleutian. This is Dignitas. We've seen flashes of it, Corelli. Shot after shot, trying to get back into this game. We've seen it come later in some of these games. It's actually refreshing to see it with still plenty of time left on the clock.
And my goodness, somebody get Seabass a towel right now. This guy is sweating on defense. He is making all the saves for Allegiance right now, and he is the sole reason that Dignitas does not have 5 goals.
Well, it's Seabass who gets a huge insurance goal here. It's the second time they've scored on actually really third time they've scored on an empty net, but the second on a shot like this where just nobody's back and it's actually just throwing the ball at the net and hoping good things happen.
And Seabass, he can do it on defense. He's doing it on offense. Definitely looking like an MVP for Allegiance right now.
They scored 13 seconds in, did Allegiance. That really set the tone, trying to close out Dignitas here in Game 4. Trying to avoid a 5th and decisive game where, again, we know Dignitas, they are capable of turning it on at the drop of a hat. Tyler, he'll center this, and it's cleared away again. Sol will not get another touch, though. He's taken out by Seabass. Lucian trying to take his time, trying to fool the offense of Dignitas, slow them down on their counterattack. That's killed at midfield. And again, Lucian gets by. Chicago needs to do this, maybe all by himself. Zol is there, but more importantly than Seabass just stopping that attempt, he hit it where Zol wasn't, making him go all the way across the field. 14 seconds remain. Dignitas just not able to get anything in front. Allegiance look like they're gonna hang on. A huge win here in week number 4. Looking to add one more. A little salt in the wound. Tyler to drop it down, but that should be the end. Allegiance get a huge win after they were held to just 2 shots in game number 2. They come back in a huge way.